It's another exciting episode of the New Dawn. Remember, this is your packed up magazine program that comes your way on Viewer Television. Now, this is where we look at angles from all ramifications of life and we look at ways around and, of course, about it. By the way, my name is Philip Sliven, and I'm not alone to anchor today's program. As usual, I have the
Yeah.
delectable Nonso Pam here with me. You are very much welcome.
Thank you, Living. Thank you. It's always exciting to do this every weekend, like I always say, and it has been a packed week. So
Interesting.
there's a
Every
packed week.
every Monday in Nigeria, you have to expect something
Yeah.
fresh, something dramatic that will come either from the government
Mm-hmm.
or from the citizens. We all find a way around interesting factors.
Yep.
And as I said earlier, all you need to do is have data, and trust me, you'll be
There's so much.
your life will be busy. You forget about all the issues that you have been having from
The
home,
gist
work,
just
or
keeps
whatever.
coming.
Yes.
Yeah, this just keeps coming. It's been a packed week, and we're bringing all of that to you. It's been a week of a lot of emotions, a lot of sentiments on the news. We've all been around, so we know what has been happening over the week, and that's what we're bringing to you on New Dawn this weekend's episode. And we'll begin with taking you through the newspaper headlines for the past week, coming from Monday till Friday. Yeah, so do stay with us. Right after the break, we'll go straight into looking at the major headlines that made the news in the past week. Don't go away.
Now, as we promised earlier, we'll be looking at newspaper headlines. That's what happened all through the week, starting Monday 2nd to Friday. Friday is 6th,
Yeah,
6th of
6th.
October 2023. And we'll be looking at a few selected national dailies that we have. And of course, if any of those interest or intrigue you, drop by any vendor close, you get a copy and of course find out more about that. Or rather, as I usually put it, it's just one click away from your phone and you can get more of those stories. Or if you've been following any story and we ushered in any update, you might as well do more to that. Now I'll start in no particular order with the Punch newspapers for the Monday. That's October 2nd, 2023. And the top story there is federal government okays allowance for senior staff Labor may suspend strike. We all knew the fact that Monday was it was a public holiday. So the day before that was October 1st. That's the Independence Day celebration anniversary.
Yeah.
And it was scheduled that there was a strike scheduled for Tuesday by the National Labour Congress. Now, this is a federal government okaying allowance for the senior staff, and the fact that Labour may suspend the strike. That's according to the paper, which sub to that is wage award now for all cadres of workers, says Bajabia Miller, and VAT on diesel waived for 6 months. Now, federal government increases allowance to 5,000 naira on labor, rejects 25,000 naira OPS, again warns against strike. Well, more of that from the Punch for Monday, October 2nd, and we also have Tinubu lawyers kicks as court orders release. The federal government issues first wholesale gas supply license on the PIA.
Mm.
Independence Day, APC berates PDPs as opposition false Tinubu's speech. Has there ever been any speech made after the election that the opposition party were like, yes, we agree with what you said?
No.
That's usually always the case. So next coming election,
We
even
wait.
next year, Seth, next Independence Day, definitely the opposition party will kick against anything
That.
that the ruling party is saying. So no plea bargain agreement with Emefiele, says AGF. Well,
Mm.
more of that story from the Punch newspaper. Now we'll move to Daily Trust, where we have the top story there says Labour presses on to decide on strike. That's on Monday, and you can get more of the story from the Daily Trust for Monday. And also we have Tinubu Shetima governors mark 63rd independence anniversary. U.S. court orders Chicago State release Tinubu's academic records to Atiku. Now, B, BUA crashes cement price to 3,500 naira per bag.
Mm.
And that's really a good one because
Yeah.
as the prices of everything skyrockets, at least there is one factor
It
that
was.
hits draws back. And
It was a big relief to hear this.
yes,
To
yes,
hear
yes,
this.
because it's something that he promised he will do, and it's good that at least he made that work.
Yeah.
All right, so tanker explosion kills 8, injures 7 in Delta. The girl child education cannot pays 20,000 naira stipends for 5,000 girls.
That's a
really
lot.
really good 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 number, I would say, to look into. And mixed reaction trails Tinubu's Independence Day anniversary speech. Now another factor of Tinubu's speech is I once said that before.
Mm.
A lot of people were expecting the fact that okay, Tinubu's become president based on his prior speeches and all that. People were expecting he wouldn't give details or some things, but it's interesting how he mixed everything up, and you can hardly say that he didn't try. When you're
At least
talking
he has
about this.
tried.
Yes.
He has tried to give speech.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how do you say it? Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
Speech
Yes.
is
Yes.
cheap to read. Yeah.
All right. Moving forward, we have the Vanguard newspaper still for Monday. We have federal government meeting with NLC TUC ends in deadlock.
Mm.
And according to that, Labour rejects government offers meeting campaigns today and orders state council affiliates to ensure total compliance. That is still regards to the strike that was called off. Now, Wike moves against Okada operation open grazing in Abuja. I don't know about the Okada operations, but I'm very sure of the open grazing.
That he should
He
put
moves
a stop.
against Okada operations
Mm.
and open grazing in
You
Abuja.
see, you're
He
not
has already.
you're not certain of whether he has done that for the Okada.
No,
Yes.
I'm not sure whether that's completely or totally in a positive way,
Mm.
or it will impact negatively to people. But for the open grazing, I'm sure that that's a really
That's
good
it.
move.
That's a good move. Oh yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because imagine after a hectic day, you usually use Okada to drive. Let me see, about 3 kilometers to where you are from the main road. All of a sudden, you realize there's no Okada anymore.
And that's the problem.
Yes, you have
Without
to walk.
alternative.
There's no alternative, so it's really something. Now, forward Nigeria at 63 governors can others preach peace. Say country's challenges surmountable. As you said, talk is cheap.
Mm.
But they've been saying this for ages. ages, even before
Yeah.
independence.
So anybody can write a speech and come and talk.
All right. The valuation banks rake in 1.9 trillion naira forex profit. Keep seeing digit profits and all that.
It's bound to rake in a lot of money all the time.
Up next, we'll be looking at the Guardian still for Monday. We have top story says federal government dangles 35,000 naira wage top up. Others as labor resists decision. I still have problem with this increase of 35,000 naira,
You have a
and you
problem
say
with
you
it.
say it's okay. Okay, we understand the fact that 200% will not be feasible for the, is it 200,000 or
They asked for 200%
200%
increase.
could not be
No,
feasible.
200,000 naira.
200,000 is for the federal government. But at least make it let them meet in the middle somewhere,
Yeah.
rather than another 35,000 naira. And we all know how fuel usually magically increase
Increases.
overnight and all that. So if you have that fire making it 70,000, still is not enough to take you home. Still not enough to take you home.
Because if people are already spending 70 to 80% of their salaries on transportation, now this we're talking percentage now of the salaries of their salaries on
Yes.
transportation, and you're just adding 35. What really is that doing? I remember that it was formerly 25,
It was 25. Now
and
there
this
is
was
there-
after much deliberation, and in the evening they came up with 35.
yes, it was 25. So
Yeah.
they were like, oh, let's add
Let's add
10,000
10,000 naira.
naira.
So in just how many hours you just
Come
decide
on, Joe. It's
add
just
10,000 naira to these people?
10,000.
Then they will keep quiet. Just give them 10,000 naira. Wow.
And indirectly, it might not be said, but that means there could be increment also for the wages of lawmakers,
Oh yes.
because they are also anyway. Let's not go into
No,
that
the
now.
subsidy is affecting all of us, so it will be increased too.
All right, we'll move to the next paper, which is the This Day newspaper. And after meeting with federal government, Labour calls emergency NEC to consider planned nationwide strike. And also, Tinubu leads Shetima others to mark Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary. And Soludo renames Anambra Airport after literal icon Chinua Achebe. That's interesting. Well, you can get more of those stories from, of course, the This Day newspaper for Monday, being the second day of October. And we're already in the ember months. Like play, it will be next year.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this year went really fast.
Yep. All right, that's all for Monday newspaper headlines. I think maybe you help us with one for Tuesday.
All right, news making the headlines on Tuesday. Nigerians were eagerly waiting for the strike. And we begin with Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune. And the major headlines: Labour suspends planned strike for 30 days and signs a memorandum of understanding with the federal government. They said they agreed to the payment of 35,000 naira wage award effective September. The federal government to urge state governors through NEC and Governors Forum to implement wage award for their workers. I know that this came to you. Was it a shock that Labour suspended the strike?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was expected.
It wasn't.
So this is their normal.
It's labor. It's Nigerian labor. They can bark loud, but they hardly bite. They hardly
So
bite.
on this backing and biting thing, the former Labour NLC president actually came out to say that Nigerians are expecting Labour to go on the strike nonetheless, but that is not that's not the job of the labor. They are not supposed to be at loggerheads with the government. They should put pressure on the government. They are a pressure group, like they will always say. So it was okay that they just accepted, okay, like in newspaper, I think it was Tribune that said, the Guardian newspaper that said they dangled 35,000 at them, and they just took it and they called it a strike. It's one thing to say that, like I say, talk is cheap. It's another thing for the states now to implement 35,
Yes,
because where is the money coming
they're already
from?
complaining. Others are the fact that you've already started giving 10,000, so them raising it to 35,000 it's not something that they even plan for.
Yeah.
That's for those that could do that. Imagine those that didn't even start anything.
So that will affect other things if you have to move monies from, because I don't know if this is already in allocation. So where is it coming from?
Definitely not.
It's definitely not. So where is it coming from?
Another thing to look at is, even though they said before they review the minimum wage, why do they usually say, let's say 6 months, or we'll do this for 3 months, we'll do this? It's as if that sometimes make me wonder if the fuel subsidy removal is only for a short while.
Yeah, because the fuel subsidy removal is permanent.
Yes,
But this is for
if they are
6
coming
months.
to compensate, they will be like,
They are
"I will
compensating for
be giving
6 months, so
8,000 to certain household for
6
this
months.
period of time."
That's to be the hope that all the policies they have put in plan should become favorable to Nigerians by that time. But we don't see that.
Yeah, expecting by then we'll forget.
We'll forget. People won't forget hardship.
Uh,
All right, the top news again. The news said 15 feared burned to death during bunkering activity in Rivers. And I think this happened
sad.
on, how sad. This is one of the things that the NDDC, thank God, they have a new
government.
board, yes, and they look into all of this. Still on petition matters, tribunal sacks Sule, declares PDP candidate as the Nasarawa state governor. And nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. And we like to see this so that if you are open to applications, you can. EFCC begins extradition process as UK courts grants Alison Madueke 70,000 euros bail. And no country floats its currency without having adequate supply, Obi tells the federal government. That's Labour Party's presidential candidate for the 2023 elections, doing his job of opposition to the APC government. So now let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. Say Labour accepts federal government proposal and suspends strike for 30 days. So I think this is the news that made the whole rounds on Tuesday. And food fare prices spike, but more Nigerians are under pressure. It puts more Nigerians under pressure. So this is what we're talking about. You say you're giving for 30 days, 60 days, 33 months,
3 months,
6 months, but the economy is not giving you 3 months. Food prices are not telling you after 3 months I will begin to drop down.
Petrol could go higher.
Yeah.
Within that period.
Yeah.
They've not even started giving the point already. Petrol is there's petrol hike in other places, some parts of the country.
So say non-interest banking. Still on the Guardian newspaper, Taj Bank leads in Tier 1 capital PBT. And the platform, this program that holds in Lagos, said in the platform, Lumumba, Oyedele and others underscore how to develop Nigeria. You can get more on that story. It's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. I think that's some detail that we should be interested in hearing. All right, let's moving on to this day newspaper. The headlines at last, CSU releases Tinubu's academic records and deposition to hold on Tuesday. Now the drama began to unfold for this week. There's been we can't even go into the reactions that have come out of this deposition because we don't even know where what lies. But like we'll say, we leave it to the courts. And the same story on this day said, Obi, no country floats currency without adequate supply. Let me take on the story of the CSU release. Said documents say Tinubu attended CSU and high school, graduated from Government College in Lagos. And we still have the Taj Bank story here, non-interest banking. Taj Bank leads in Tier 1 capital PBT. And that's all for this day newspapers. You can get more of those stories from the Tuesday publication of this day. And let's move on to the Punch. News making the Punch. The 6-month allowance, federal government to spend 315 billion and labor suspends strike for 30 days. You see what we're talking about now? That's a huge amount of money. Where is it allocated?
So indirectly, they are still giving 30 days ultimatum.
Yes, we have a 30 days. And it said it should begin in September. From the other statement, it said it should begins in September. Did you see that?
September.
Yes.
We are in October.
We're in October. It should begin. So labor demands wage award for states, local government, private sector workers. That's another thing. We're not in this. Seems like labor actually are fighting for themselves now, because where does this keep we in the private sector? We're part of the force.
Yeah, it's another angle to look at those that are working. It's also another angle to look at those that couldn't get the job, couldn't get the chance to work with the federal government. So
yeah,
and they are not working anywhere. That's a total someone who is jobless. What happens to him?
So what happens to him? What happens to him? And for some people beyond their control, there are no jobs. There are no jobs in the labor market. So marketers disagree with Tinubu tax advisor on refinery sale. This was another big story that came out of the platform, where he came out and said, this Oyedele came out and said, the Nigerian refineries, we should pray that they do not work so that they will be sold, because of how much goes into that, and the tax advisors are not in agreement. And you can get that story on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. It says 30 feared killed in illegal Rivers refinery explosion. Now that story, there has been news of 8 killed, 15 killed, 33 killed. We don't know the figure. Yeah, we don't know the figure. Also, they said bribe taking policemen return to Lagos Road, extort 25,000 naira from driver. That's sad. That's on the Punch newspaper. These are all the simple things that make drivers will now hike up their own prices.
Yes.
When police are, should we call this illegal taxation now?
That's extortion.
From you, yes, from you on the road. And then you'd want to make up that money back. And then you hike your price, and it falls on the citizens who will have to use your. All right, let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper. Still, the major story there: federal government labor, they reach a truce. A nationwide strike suspended. Say organized labor suspends nationwide strike. Bill to start Tuesday for 1 month. We hope there is implementation of this. So here again on that same news, 35 persons burned to death at Rivers illegal oil refining sites. This is the third figure we're getting. Yeah. This is the third figure we're getting from that. But the major thing is that this is a sad incident that should stop happening. We should begin to look into this illegal bunkering. People have been saying, oh, industrialize these artisans, industrialize them so that, you know, they know what they are doing. They know what they're doing. Well, I don't think it's something that the government would even look at all. So that the hazards that follow go. Say tribunal again sacks Nasarawa governor in split decision. We can get those are the news making the headlines on Vanguard. So let's move to trust.
If you've already, sorry for cutting.
No, it's fine.
If you have already made plans as a governor and already implemented some factors that and
you just come and you're sacked.
somebody with white wig come and say you're not the
Yeah,
governor.
you're not the governor. You see, that is why we keep asking these legal practitioners, what is the way out of this? And a lawyer suggested to us earlier, some days back on the program, that he will suggest whichever elections be held long time before inaugurations, so that all these things are out of the way. Because like you're saying, you've made your plans, you've begun, you've given your manifesto, you're working towards your manifesto, you've started allocating funds probably for contracts, and before you know it, the court comes and says you are off.
You're not the
Governance
rightful
governance has to start all
all over
over
again.
again. It's quite destabilizing for the polity, for everything. It's quite destabilizing. I think it's something the government should really look into. All right, moving on to Daily Trust for Tuesday. Major headline again: Labour suspends planned strike for 30 days. And some security issues: gunshots as IPOB unleashes terror in Simon Ekpa's hometown. So what does this tell us now? Simon Ekpa, who has been instigating and then there is now shooting in his,
Somewhere
what is,
enjoying himself and instigating people to
quite unfortunate. So let's move on. Tinubu Buhari orders more emeritus Prof. Umar Shehu, and our condolences to his family and the whole of Nigeria for his loss, for our loss. So non-interest banking, again, Taj Bank leads in Tier 1 capital and posts 6 billion naira profits. And still on Daily Trust, Atiku mom as Chicago Varsity releases Tinubu's records and authenticates certificates. That is a developing story as we go on. And let's move on to Leadership newspaper. Major headline again. I think every newspaper took that as a major headline. Relief as Labour suspends indefinite strike at 11th hour. Did that come as a relief to you? So this is not speaking.
at least if the demands are met, then it will be relieved. But if the demands are met, not fully implemented,
How are
then
we sure these demands are going to be met again? That's the thing. Even I asked you the other time. Remember, we had set up a committee 19th of June. Another committee was set again now. Have we questioned the other committee members? Why didn't you guys do your job? We just set another committee
have you ever
now.
wondered how many committees we
They
have?
always set committee. There's always committee. So now they've set up committee now for something that should have been implemented September. We've set up a committee now. Let's look for it. 30 days. We're watching. We're waiting. All right. Enugu Tribunal verdict violated constitution. This is story from Barrister AZK. You can get that on the Leadership newspaper on page 6 to get more of that information. Now another contradicting figure: 17 die in Rivers pipeline explosion. And EFCC secures arrest warrant against Diziani. And that's for the Leadership newspaper. Yeah, and I think that's all for Tuesday headlines.
Okay. Moving forward to Wednesday. Wednesday, that's the fourth day of October. Still in no particular order. We'll start with the New Telegraph, which top story there says silent moratorium causing prison congestion. That's according to source there. And ACF bewails decline in income value living standard of Nigeria. We also have APC's victory not enough. Ganduje tells Buhari that after he visited Buhari. Now Nigeria lose 752.25 billion naira in fuel shipments to
Wow.
foreigners. Remember, you can get more of those stories from the New Telegraph for Wednesday. Now, also the Daily Trust. Nigeria Airlines raised to meet six aircraft requirements. Get January 2025 deadline in new regulation, and many may fizzle out unless experts call for merger. That's the sub headline for the Nigerian Airlines race to meet six aircraft requirements. And also, Tinubu picks Balarabe to replace Erufai as minister. Now that's when the drama started.
Yeah.
We all know what later unfolded rather during the screening.
Screening.
Of course, we'll tell you more when we get to that point. For now, this is when it all started. Now, reps to probe 15.5 trillion naira pension assets recover 10 trillion naira from federal government. Birthday mismatch, gender error, unanswered questions as Chicago University releases Tinubu's certificate. Also when another uh,
Drama.
drama unfolded. We have 23 rather traders feared dead in KB boat accident. It seems like every week there is one boat mishap or the other. So it's due to the situation of the road, people decided to start using waterways. But now it seems like the waterways is still not safe.
Yeah, because you don't have safety, we don't have
Yes.
there isn't any proper structure because you need to have if you're going to go on a boat ride in Nigeria,
Yes,
you
safety
don't know
measures.
how to swim. You should be wearing floaters or things like that because anything can happen. But I think this is something that I don't know, day right now should pay attention to that and give that a look because it's beginning to be the same way we hear road crashes and road accidents. It's almost the same way we're hearing boat mishaps.
Yeah, talking about road crashes, we'll be having an interview with Field Marshal, yeah?
Yeah.
That's with the Federal Road Safety Corps, Abuja, and look at how they are planning or what measures they've set up to reduce the road crashes during this amber month. Definitely. Now, moving forward, we'll be looking at the Guardian, concise nurtured by truth. And that's still for Wednesday, October 4th, 2023. Hurdles for federal government's 2024 budget over 10 trillion naira deficit. Palliatives. You can imagine how the figures keep growing every year. And Tinubu nominates Balarabe to replace his Erufai and two others. We have the front page, we have the picture of IHS Towers Executive Vice President with, of course, the Executive Vice President Communication also. That's the Sinasal with the President. That's President Bola Tinubu there. You can get
Yeah.
more details from that picture from the Guardian for the fourth day of October. Now, moving forward, Nigerian Tribune. First timers can contest for Senate President or Deputy. That unfolded when I
Yeah.
think someone who just entered decided I should head this place. Come on, you just got here. Calm down. Know what's happening.
No,
You
I'm
just
going to
entered
be
the building
there.
and you feel like, no, I
There,
should be the
that's where
president.
I should.
Aim high, but that's
We know.
high.
We see how that's going.
Aim high, but that's really high. All right. We have reps to probe 15.5 trillion naira pension assets status of 10 trillion naira loan to federal government. 23 feared deaths in KB boat accident. And we also have nomination opens for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. Impeachment. Ondo Assembly directs CJ to constitute 7-man panel on deputy governor. And we also have the aspect where, of course, the deputy governor wrote also to the CJ contesting that. We'll let you know as we keep going through the days to Friday. We'll get to that. Tinubu's documents, Chicago State University testifies in the position proceedings. Now, I understand some of the fact, the fact that he did it, and it was certified that he did it. There are some typographical errors here and there that was quite obvious and alarming, but regardless, the fact that he was there and the acknowledgement was there, I feel this long dragging, it's uncalled for.
So you think it should just pass.
I'm not
He
saying
went
they
there,
should
he
accept
went there.
defeat,
No,
but
that's not even what. That's not. Neither am I saying that they should continue on the case. I'm saying that okay, you went to the school, you went. Is that enough? So, I can go to any school and just sit down there, attend lecture, and say, okay, I went there. Let me just print my own certificate. Let's all start doing that.
Tinubu seeks Senate's confirmation of 3 new ministerial nominees. Also, pregnant woman, 2 children die as last month policeman struggle with driver in Lagos.
Tragic.
This is ripple effect. Ripple effect. What you think, what you do, thinking is just between you and the immediate
Affect
person.
somebody innocent.
Indirectly will affect someone. So you're chasing this driver just because of, let's say, 5,000 or maybe 2,000, 3,000. All of a sudden,
Maybe to shock you,
imagine
it is
a pregnant
500
woman
naira.
with 2 children.
Die. To surprise you, it's 500 naira. You know, I think they should really begin to check the mental state of a lot of these people, because that you will go that far
Just for such amount.
for that amount to see that, that's you need to be checked. You need to be checked. I think it's something that, the military, the paramilitary, and all that, they should begin to check the mental state of these people. I'm not even talking long time, I'm talking every day. Just find a way to check, is this person all right to go into the field? Really? Because you can wake up and you are destabilized and you have a gun, or you wear your uniform and you have authority, you have power, and you move into the street and you are behaving emotional when you shouldn't be emotional, when you should be realistic in what you're doing. You're behaving emotional, you put people's lives in danger.
So you think the federal government should consider that?
Yes, even if it takes you, even if that's too far. That's too far. But simple things like you can send your people messages. How are you feeling? So that it just even makes you give yourself a think. Oh, am I in the right state of mind to be on the streets today?
On behalf of the federal government of the Republic of Nigeria, we'll form a committee that will look into
that. All right. I'll take you on that one. How many days should I give you for that? 2 weeks ultimatum, Philippe.
That's this. All right, moving forward, the Punch newspaper, we have still for October 4th, that being Wednesday. We have APC lampoons Atiku, ex-VP, set to submit document to Supreme Court. The subheading there is Atiku's journey to Chicago. Fruitless exercise. An ex-VP, a loser, says APC. President's documents released by Basti have vindicated us, PDP insist. All right, that's regarding Tinubu's credentials. We have Minister Tinubu picks Balarabe to replace El Rufai. And, Mobad, police detain Naira Marley. We also have 2 killed as last month official driver clash LG office raised. And Aidetiwa Ondo Assembly asks CJ to raise impeachment panel if it has reached the situation where the House, the Assembly, has unanimously agreed that we need to impeach you, and your principal is keeping quiet. I think it's about time you just start making ways to at least leave honorably. That's what I think. because it will take a miracle for you to
For
succeed,
yeah,
still stay on that seat, and enjoy staying on that
that's
seat.
it.
Take a miracle. Well,
Especially they enjoy sitting on that seat. Even if it doesn't go through, it's going to be
you
governance will
will be
be
frustrated
difficult
on
for
that.
you.
You will be
But this is
frustrated.
Nigeria, it's what we have.
Somebody said he didn't make the right move. All right, 100 billion naira CNG buses. Senate rejects CBN loans. Wants Tinubu against illegal spending. You see, they've not even gone anywhere. They've not even gone anywhere. Part of the things that he, or let me say, the federal government agreed to do, is being rejected by the Senate. And you'd have to go through the Senate before all these things will be implemented. Now they've not gone anywhere. It's just, I think, a day, let's say within 24 hours or 48 hours, all of a sudden, those people that are supposed to accept and agree for it to put through already already rejecting it.
But please leave him. Let's not wear our every kind of caps. Let's just try to be. Why are they calling this illegal spending?
Why is it illegal? Because I think it's not part of um,
He's taking loans. The request is for CNG buses that will help every Nigerian citizen.
it's reduced.
Yes.
I think they feel there's already much to pay. We don't have much already coming, like literally, or let me say, if not every part of what we're generating goes to paying
Came
debts.
to paying debts. But these are the kind of things that we would rather see you take loans for, because it will still generate income. You're not going to be taking Nigerians free in these buses. These are the kind of things that you see. It's not for consumption only. You should, but you have you anyway.
Uh, 100 billion.
70 billion is accrued to the Senate. This is 100 billion to alleviate the transportation sufferings, the commuting sufferings of Nigerians. It's so easy for you to
Say no.
sweep it under the carpet and you call it illegal spending.
But their 70 billion is okay.
It's okay.
23 oil blocks fail to produce crude, according to federal government, and still from the Punch newspaper. And with the Punch for October 4th, Wednesday, I think maybe move to Thursday.
Okay. Let's move to Thursday. Headlines making the
Starting with
news. Let's begin
sad stories, I
with
think.
Daily Trust. Yeah. That's so unfortunate. Farmers, varsity students abducted in Borno and Katsina. They saved Taraba from bandits. Governor begs army chief. And reps asked army, the police, to deploy personnel to Katsina. I thought this was going to be behind it. Even it's too much in Nigeria, actually. At this point, it's too much. But let's go. Senate confirms ministerial nominee who collapsed during screening and 2 orders. We saw that happen, and that just we're talking about this was he collapsed. He was not even being questioned, so it's not the regular, you are asking.
Grilling.
It's not the grilling that you see. So news came out that he was fasting in the period, but he stood throughout. He gave his he gave his address, and the senator from Kaduna State was the person who was praising him and all when he just collapsed. And we know it just got us thinking, Nigeria will happen to you anywhere, because you collapsed, and unfortunately your Senate president is asking for salt water and sugar to resuscitate somebody who has collapsed. I understand panic, like I say, but we should do better. We really should do better. We don't know the state he collapsed in. The first thing in your mind should be to call for medics, to call for what you collapsed, and we're looking for. Is there going to be salt and sugar? Any senator with water and sugar?
In their office, there should be salt and sugar.
So are we going to wait for you to go to your office and get sugar and run back? Well, let Nigeria just not happen to you. Still on the Mohbad case, Naira Marley, Larry remanded as police declare childhood friend wanted. And in Adamawa State, flood displaces 563 persons. We saw the deputy governor there trying to make interventions for the
Yes.
displaced persons. Yeah, where we love to see such proactiveness happen. And certificate Tinubu presented to INEC not in our possession. This was news that came out after the deposition testimony, and the story still unfolding. There's been a lot of reactions, a lot of emotional and logical reactions, but we'll wait for the courts to do their job. E-ticketing delay threatens 22 billion revenue on Lagos Ibadan Itakpe trains. Train stations making that huge amount of money?
Yep, they are.
They are making that huge amount of money. And then people have given testimonies of this rail. It leaves on time, it's fast, it's timely, it doesn't delay. We hope that whatever problems you're having will be tackled. Niger records 53 deaths from 6 boat mishaps in 1 month. That's a huge figure. Like we stated earlier, this whole boat mishaps should be looked into, because it should be in other climes. It's a way of transportation. Yes, so it should be looked into, so that if it's an alternative and you live on the coastal regions, it will just be a normal for you. But with this now, everybody will begin to think twice and thrice before they. So said hazy weather unsettles divers and asthmatic patients in Maiduguri. This was on Thursday. That's news from the Daily Trust. And so let's move on to the Punch, still for Thursday. Now, states borrow 46 billion naira from banks to pay salaries. You see the problem living. All right. So Access Fidelity Zenith lent states 46 billion in 6 months as governments battle poor IGR. And you are still expected to increase the wages by 35,000 naira. The bank should get ready to do some more borrowing. Chicago Varsity vindicates Tinubu, I beg your pardon, presidency insists. Atiku files documents today. That was on Thursday. The federal government to convert 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG. That will go a long way. We wonder at what time. We hope it's not in 2024 that this will be finished and we have these CNG buses on the way. Say Naira among Africa's worst currencies, it falls by 40%. This is from the World Bank. You can find that story on page 20 of the Punch.
It's supposed to be the giant of Africa.
The giant of Africa. It is falling by 40%. This will just affect trade. People wouldn't want to trade with such a currency. Say judgment is based on constitution, not public opinion. No, this is why I stay out of all this. The whole yes, we can give our public opinion, but the rest, when it comes to the judgment, when it comes to what the Supreme Court will do, they will do it based on the law and based on constitution. Say 5 Katsina Varsity students kidnapped and police nab informants. I hope that leads to them being rescued and released. The teacher's car crushes pupil to death in Lagos State. That's an unfortunate incident. So let's move on to Nigerian Tribune, still for Thursday. Nigerian Tribune said how Nigeria, other African countries can avert a lost decade. This is from the World Bank. I think that's a story that we need to read. It projects a 2.9% growth for Nigeria's economy and 12 million young Africans entering labor market each year. Where are the jobs? And we being with our population, 12 million young Africans. You can imagine how many Nigerians are in that figure. Say public opinion cannot override constitutional provisions. This is the CGN. I think we don't preempt the Supreme Court, but when you hear statements like this, it begins to create a little bit of preemptive possibilities in our head. Like, okay,
know the possibility.
Okay, yeah.
For them to say this, that means they are looking at this.
We all know what that is, and I don't think that's really something that the CGN should be coming out to say at this point. We know how the law is going to go. Let it go the way, because yes, we know the popular public opinion. So when you come out and you say public opinion cannot override constitutional provisions, it gives us a sense of where this is heading. All right, let's move on to the next story. Nominations open, of course. We've been taking this story for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. And still, Nigerian Tribune, it says reps probe 22 billion Lagos Shango Abeokuta Road reconstruction contract. That is on page 30. And bandits abduct 5 federal university students in Katsina. 2 killed, many injured. Residents flee in renewed Ifon-Ilobu communal clash. And for its story, visa ban, UAE officials arrive to continue meeting with Nigeria as on Thursday. So we're waiting for how that story will unfold. And last scare as Kaduna ministerial nominee slumps during screening, the Senate confirms him and 2 others. So we're glad that he was able to get help and was resuscitated. So let's move on now to leadership, a leadership newspaper. We have no time to waste on trivialities. This is from the federal government. See, Tinubu's certificate is not forged, says the presidency, and CSU records can help Atiku's case before the Supreme Court. That's coming from a senior advocate of Nigeria. Then in the sub-news, there's the Senate confirms Balarabe and 2 other ministerial nominees. The World Bank taxed Nigeria and others on stability and job creation, especially on job creation. Let's take that. Let's heed to that task. The CBN books Obazi report causing discomfort in presidency. All right, that's it for leadership newspaper for Thursday. Moving on to Vanguard, still on the wage matter, the news making the major headline says states split over federal government's 35,000 wage award for federal workers. Should we still wait for 30 days? It said we'll key into federal government's templates. These are the states who are keen into it: Enugu, Edo, Ondo, and Ekiti. Kebbi, Delta, Oyo, Adamawa, orders to negotiate with their workers. Well, it's better they come out now and negotiate rather than saying than holding your salaries for
months.
For months, yes. And I think it's okay for some states, because we know that the rate of inflation too is different for other states because of, transportation and all. So I think it's okay if some states can actually come and tell their workers, see, we don't have the IGR, we're not generating the IGR like this, that we can afford to pay an extra 35. So this is what we can do, this is what we can do. It's better to have that transparency in the government. Yeah, it still won't be enough, but you'd rather have the transparency than tell us something that you will not do and not do it. Yes, let's have that. Let's really know what we are into. And still on that, the federal government can't dictate to us what to pay. This is coming from Niger's government. All right. Presidency Atiku disagree over certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. Yeah, that is still, that's on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. And still on the Mohbad case, a court remands Naira Marley, Sam Larry, and 2 others. So this is to inform Nigerians that investigations are ongoing in the Mohbad's case. And so CGN to judges, we must rise above temptations and trials. We hope that people are not knocking on the judges' doors to warn them. Let's let them do their job. So let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. See, crisis looms, universities over mass exodus of lecturers. It's not only our doctors that are leaving now. Lecturers are moving.
Even even artisans
Yeah,
are
are
moving.
moving. So there's a lot of openings for not just the professionals now
Mhm.
to leave the country, and people are asking themselves, let us move.
What's left?
What's
That's
left?
what
What's left here? With every passing day, you see a reason. If not
you know.
insecurity, you
You
see a
know.
reason to leave.
Yes, one
Mm.
sad aspect of the brain drain is there should be availability of jobs for those that are seeking. But
Mm.
reverse is the case here.
Mm.
If let's say 50 teachers should go, at least they should employ another 50 teachers. But you hardly hear them filling up that space.
Clinics.
It's usually hard,
So there's a void now there.
a large one.
Mm. And who does that affect? The people who are left behind. Mm. Say, beware of landmines. CJN Ariwolu warns new federal high court judges. Gunmen abduct 5 female undergraduates in Katsina State. This is still the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper for Thursday. It's a tragedy in Senate as journalist dies. Ministerial nominee slumps during screening. We're just hearing we're just seeing the nominee who slumped, and in the same day, a journalist in the Senate, he slumped and died. That was too much for one day to happen in the National Assembly, and our heart goes out to his family. And we say Tinubu and the political option for Nnamdi Kanu. You can find out on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper, so that you can see that story. Say Tinubu and the political option for Nnamdi Kanu. There has been agitations. His lawyer Ezekome has been asking for his release. He made serious plea yesterday. Please get him out for peace. Bring him out. So there's a lot the government has on their plate. We hope that they prioritize and take everything one step at a time and fast. All right, that's all for Thursday. Yeah, that's all for Thursday.
All right, let me take the one for Friday, and of course that will be the last day that we'll be looking at the paper headlines. And Friday being the 6th day of October 2023. Top story from the Daily Trust is join me to unearth truth Atiku tells Obi and Kwankwaso. I feel at this, it's when people were expecting him to join heads with these people, it's late.
It's late now.
It was when the election was starting. It was expected of him to join heads with all these people. So now
because they're all on different trajectories.
Now that already it has moved to this level, I doubt if there's anything more that can be done.
That can be done.
I know
Yes.
Peter will be saying he's also at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, of course. Trying to claim his mandate. Yes. Yes. So this is not the point now to come together. That time is way past.
Yes, that's all from the Tinubu certificate. Now, a twist in River APC crisis as faction bicker over Amaechi's directive to back Atiku. And also, Senate seeks special security operations in Northwest. Here's as Jigawa Elders Forum chairman, Afa buried in Kano. More of that from the Daily Trust for today. Body of a missing Plateau Fulani leader found. Well, it's another thing to pay ransom, and it's another thing also to find the person that paying ransom for dead. Now, Ocean Gov orders shoot at site as 5 feared dead in communal clash. Premarital medical screening law on the way, and that is from Kano Isba. More of those stories from the Daily Trust for today. We have World Teachers Day. Fulfill your promises to us. Teachers tells federal government 3 years after. Imagine 3 years after.
3 years after.
The next paper is the New Telegraph, which still for Friday, being the 6th day of October. Certificate saga, Nigeria bigger than any individual. That is coming from Atiku. From that, it says nation's reputation at stake, and list Obi, Kwankwaso, and others support to defend ground rules of elective governance. Senate summons security chiefs over rising insecurity.
Hmm.
That is in reference to varsity students' abduction. Well, WTD teachers will get their due reward. That is in reference to World Teachers' Day from Tinubu.
For how long? Because we're tired of hearing that teachers' reward is in heaven. Their reward should start here.
Nigeria's internet subscribers now 159 million. That's 7,717, and that's according to NCC.
Mm.
You can get more of that story from the New Telegraph for Friday. Moving forward, we'll have Leadership Friday, which we have Atiku rallies oppositions as APC asks ex-VP to lick his wounds. Support us to reclaim mandate, LP tells Atiku. So everybody's asking.
Everybody's asking for support right now.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
I think this is too late because you can't even come in
Yes.
now and say the both of us we can't even bring a case together to the Supreme Court.
what case?
And
That's
like the
problem. What
CGN is
case?
telling people like we're not going to be moved by sentiments.
Public, yes.
You can't even come now and say you're coming to form.
Alliance.
Yeah, you can't. That can't even happen now. So
So we have still from the leadership kidnappings. Senate demands special operations in Northwest. And we also have marketers demand emergency palliatives to ease petrol import. And also impeachment. Aidetiwa asks Ondo CJ to ignore state assembly. Supreme Court decides Kanu's fate December 15th.
wow.
More of that's when we know whether he's staying or he's going back home. Alright, moving forward to the next paper, which is Nigerian Tribune. The top story is talking about Tinubu's CSU certificate saga. Reputation of Nigeria at stake, and that is according to Atiku there. And we have impeachment, disregard request from Ondo Assembly. Adegborua writes Ondo Chief Judge. And ensure local government LGAs get allocation directly, not through governors. Afe Babalola tells Tinubu. We have sex scandal. Why we arrested suspended Unical professor. That is from the DSS. Supreme Court states December 15th to determine Nnamdi Kanu's fate. That is from the Nigerian Tribune there. Moving forward, we'll be looking at Vanguard newspaper. Now we have APC kicks as Atiku says only Supreme Court can end his battle with Tinubu. Only the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I agree.
Ends with them.
Atiku should accept defeat, lick his wound. That is coming from the APC there. Insecurity, Senate asks for special military operations to dislodge bandits, kidnappers. And also how federal government's subsidy removal wrong. And that is coming from NECA there. Plateau girls abandon school over absence of menstrual hygiene facility. That's sad.
Sad. That's sad.
As little as that situation. Now, customs brokers protest alleged 200% increase in duty. And that's what we're saying. Everything skyrockets.
Everything.
Federal government sukuk bond funding to hit 1 trillion naira, fresh 150 billion naira. And that's it for Vanguard newspaper for Friday, being the 6th day of October 2023. Now, next is The Guardian, where we have Africa's entrapped trade corridors worsen, AFCFTA implementation. And we have the graph there, and the list of junta-led states and all that. You find more of that from the Guardian newspaper. Tales of neglect larges as Nigeria marks World Teachers Day. Senate summons service chiefs IGP over kidnap of students. Tinubu's Chicago certificate, Atiku rallies Obi Kwankwaso, Nigerians for justice. Finally, governors stealing a lot local councils should get allocation directly, says Alfemba Valona. That's all for The Guardian for Friday. And finally, the Punch newspaper, and the top story there says Tinubu betrayed me. I will fight till Supreme Court's verdict. And that is from Atiku. That's the top story there in reference to Chicago record. And we have Tinubu supported Yaradua PDP in 2007 presidential election, says ex-vice president. And also, Atiku's political career has ended. He got nothing from Chicago University, and that is from APC.
This has gotten really sentimental and emotional right now. Is this why you are fighting him? Is this the reason why?
NUT demands more reforms. Teachers undergo internship. That would be nice. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be good.
Tinubu approves 25,000 naira monthly grant for vulnerable pensioners. That's great. Lagos Abeokuta Highway remains a debt trap. Motorists laments, especially during this rainy season.
Yeah. And you can't ascertain the depth of the potholes, and you just go into them.
Now, depots deserted as petrol landing cost hits 720 naira per litre. Manufacturers experiencing toughest period in history, and that's coming from Man. We also have Works Ministry, 217 billion naira to repairs 260 roads. And I think that's about the size of it. From the Punch newspaper, and of course, for the newspaper headlines that we have for today, as I stated earlier, you can drop by any vendor, please get a copy. Of course, get more of that story there, or rather, you can use any of your device to get more of those stories from their online platforms. Well, this is still the new dawn here on Viewer Television. As we said earlier, we'll be having an interview on the Ember Month and what plans that the Federal Road Safety have for road users. Of course, the best possible way on how to go about your day during this Ember Month. The person in question is Comrade.
Yes, we have Comrade Sani Abisa. He'll be talking to us on ways that you can, keep yourselves and your family safe during this Ember Month. Some road safety basic guidelines that you should adhere to, so that we are reducing the number of fatalities to the barest minimum possible during this time. Yeah. So that interview would come right after this break. Stay with us. Hello and a warm welcome. This is viewer exclusive on Viewer Television. It's always exciting to bring this enlightening program to you. And now the festive seasons are upon us. There are lots of vehicular movements, lots of travels, and recent statistics has shown that Nigeria has lost over 4,000 lives for the first 6 months of this year, and that's accounting to 24 lives lost every day to fatal road crashes. We become more concerned as the months towards the festive season comes about. We're concerned about traveling, we're concerned about being on the roads, heavy traffic, and all of that. So how can you and your family and your loved ones remain safe on our roads? I won't be doing this alone. I will be talking to a road safety expert. He'll be giving us answers to these questions. My name is Chinonso Chekwaz. So join me again after this break. Thanks for staying with me. You're still watching Viewer Exclusive. My guest today is Comrade Sani Adisa. He's the State Coordinator, Special Marshals, FCT Command in Abuja. He's retired from the AEDC, that's the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company. He's an activist of over 3 decades. He's happily married with 4 children and 4 grandchildren. And he's my guest today on the show. You're welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Good morning.
thank you so much for making out the time to come here today. How is the family?
We are fine.
You have a very large family and you don't look like a grandpa.
To God be the glory.
Yeah, we thank
God.
God. Yeah, thank you for coming on this morning. Yeah, so like I introduced you, you are the coordinator for the Special Marshals, the Road Safety Special Marshals Command in Abuja. A lot of us get confused and concerned when we see this on the road, and we can't seem to place the difference between this and the regular road safety that we see. Can you help enlighten us on the differences, the similarities? Who are the road safety marshals?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Straight to the point, special marshals are volunteers that are ready to complement the effort of the corps.
Okay.
And they are created by an enabling act that equally created and established the regular marshals. And the membership of the special marshals are men of proven integrity with means of livelihood. Okay. They are people that have seen it all, and they are ready to give back to the society, their resources, their time, their influence, everything they have to ensure that there is safety on Nigerian roads. And the only difference between them and the regular marshals are they are not paid salary, but they perform the same responsibilities. And aside from that, what they put on that makes them different on the road is the aquamarine regalia, the color that I'm putting on now. So that is who the special marshals are.
And you do the same job.
We do the same job. We can prosecute, we can enforce, we can enlighten, we can.
So you said you are volunteer, so
yes.
It means you are not being paid
by
the government. Do you have any sort of covering? Are you seen as government employees or something? Do you have anything, or this is just strictly volunteer job?
It's strictly volunteer job.
Okay.
We don't have any budget, we don't have any salary.
You just come and you do this.
We pull our resources together.
Or yourselves?
Yes.
As the marshals yourselves. Okay.
Yes.
When you say you do the same jobs as those on the so, how about training? Do you get the same kind of training?
Yes. We let me go quickly run through how we get membership enlisted.
Okay.
Why the regulars are using the word recruitment, we are using the word enlisted.
Okay.
And there are processes of getting a special marshal enlisted into the corps. How do I mean? You go through your application, to the sector commander or the state coordinator or the unit commanders, as the case may be. After that, you are shortlisted, whether by some a particular committee, which is comprised of the special marshals and the regular one, including the intelligence, because they will screen, go through your application and possibly call you and make some intelligent over you. So these are then after that you are called for screening. After that you are to go for training of about 6 weeks. That is every Saturdays. Because of the fact that you are a volunteer, they will not like to bother you too much. So they will not like to take you out of your primary assignment of getting yourself something for your family. So after that, after the training for 6 weeks, we take them to the road for practical demonstration of the theoretical aspect of the job they have learned. And aside from that, they go for inauguration, which is a big event as well, which brings all the special marshals together again to celebrate them. And after that, they are redeployed. I mean, they are deployed to different units of their choice, because everything about special marshal is volunteerism, and it is considered that they must consider your convenience first. It's either where you are working is closer to where you want to be doing your primary responsibility, or closer to your house or your place of residence. So those are the way and manner we are brought into the system.
Okay, so how does the enlisting go? Do people come, or do you put out a notice, or the special marshal is
there is always a circular that is always released by the corps marshal from the headquarters periodically like that. And when it is signed and released to the commands in FCT or across the federation, many people seen us on road alone is enough to say, I love the way you kids up. I love the way you control traffic. I love your input to the society. I love the way you correct us. How can I be a member of this noble organization? So all we do is, we guide them on what to do, where to write to. Before you know it, they are called. That we saw your application, we want to screen you. That's how you...
So since you have your primary assignments too, as taking care of your family, and you have your primary work you have to do, what time do you now have to render this service to the public?
That's very good. It's not a daily thing.
Okay.
Like in Abuja now, we have about 50 units to complement the effort of the existing commands of the corps. Like Unit 1 may have its own day of patrol on Monday in the morning. Unit 50 may have its own day of patrol in the evening, same day. The other one may have their own in the afternoon, the other day. The other one may have their own on Saturdays. Across board like that, we ensure that there is no vacuum at all across the length and breadth of FCT.
So if you fall into, this time works for you, then
just you pick the one that will be convenient for you.
And that's it. Okay, so and still in that line, I'm concerned about the strength. Right, this is two in one question. I'm concerned about your strength on the road. Are you accorded the same respect and reverence? Because usually when people see road safety, they always want to adjust themselves, begin to wear their seat belts, which is, they should have been wearing their seat belts, not out of fear. They begin to do that. Do you see the same, do you have those same reactions?
Yes.
Like the road safety, people accord you the same respect and reverence like they accord the...
Yeah, the answer would be A and B.
Okay.
How is that? How do I mean? When some people that knows the words of volunteerism and know the caliber of people that are on the road, the elite, they accord us the necessary respect because they know that this person you are looking at, you are seeing, may either be a director, may either be a deputy director, may either be an ambassador, may either be a serving general, and head of ministries and departments and parastatals like that. But to the other side question, answer B, you can see that the likes of the Keke Napeps, the Okada riders, some truck driver that are not lettered, they see us as who are these people. So this is what we are trying to sell across to the Nigerian motorists, that the people you are looking at, it is a must for you to respect them. Why? Because they are not collecting a dime from anybody, from the government or from individual. They are coming together to pool their resources and to ensure that you are safe on Nigerian roads.
Yeah.
They are not on salary. They always come together to help where there is RTC, the one we call road traffic crashes, the rescue people, they control. You can see even in Guarimpa here, you see them here and there. We have about for now, we have about 2 units in Guarimpa. As I'm talking to you, any moment from now, we are creating another 2 units to further complement the effort of those on ground, so that at each junctions you have free, traffic movement, so that people will not be delayed to go into to their offices and places of business.
Okay, that's such a fantastic job guys are doing, and I think this is why this is necessary, so people know. I particularly love to see the special marshals on the road. You're comfortable when you see them. You know that you are not going to be harassed by these people. You know that you will be well attended to. You know that they will be asking you for the necessary. Exactly. So I love to see you guys on the road, and I'm hoping that there are avenues to, like you say, spread it around so people really understand who these people are. These people are not here to, take telephone money from you or try to ask you for things. They are here to do their job. So now let's go straight into road safety matters. Like I mentioned in my introduction, the number and the level of crashes that we are having in Nigeria is becoming alarming to a lot of reasons: bad roads, bad driving, and like I said, we're coming to the Ember months, right? We're there already. We begin to see fatal accidents around. There are a lot of points I want us to look at, but let's first start by one thing we know it's prevalent in this period is a lot of people are excited. A lot of people are going to, relieve the stress of the whole year. People are drinking, people are doing this. Do you have the facilities, one, right, and the intelligence to identify or to spot someone like a drunk driver on the road?
Yes.
Okay.
We do. We are talking about the Yuletide period. Yes. Now, which is the Ember month. Yeah. Of recent, that was in September, we've had a flag off at the Area 3 Motor Park there by Abuja Environmental Protection Board, where we brought, together all stakeholders, including the drivers' union, the school children, the coppers, name it, and the special marshals and the regulars as well, that to flag it up that this is Ember month, and to change the orientation, the attitude of people, that this Ember month is always associated with some evil spirit, which is not. Correcting them of that notion that it's my stepmother that followed me when I left home. Forgetting that emotionally you are not okay before you left home. Psychologically you are not yourself. Particularly in a time like this, going by what we are experiencing economically. Yeah. These are, other things are what needed to be factored in before you set for a particular journey. Especially, is it within the street? Within the street, you can kill. Outside the street, you can kill. On the expressway, you can kill. Because the moment you are not yourself, your medical status is not okay, definitely you will use your ignorance or your stupidity, sorry to say, to affect the lives of others. And what are the factors that contribute to this? We have it like the human factors, which is the attitude, your inability to checkmate your excesses before you leave your home. Why will you be driving and you'll be making call? Yeah. Why will you overtake at a wrong bend? Meanwhile, you are not going to be affected alone. It will affect the oncoming vehicle. It will affect those within the vehicle. It will bring loss of lives. It will bring economic losses. Name it. Aside from that, we have the environmental factor, which is this present position, time we have now. You can see the level of rain overnight. Yeah. Many will come with speed and, drive roughly into a pool of water, where we should call water plane. Before you know it, the water will take them off, and before you know it, the vehicle continue to somersault.
Axis the other
the
time.
vehicle will somersault, and they said they'll be calling the road safety to come and rescue. Why can't you, as an individual, be discretionary in your driving, so that people that go, you see yourself as anybody that goes out and comes back is a good driver. It is only when you come back that your children will welcome you, daddy, or you, mommy. I mean, but without that, definitely you are constituting a nuisance to the general public. Another one is mechanical. You know quite well that your vehicle is not functional, it's not in good state to be put on the road. But because of the fact that you are economically down, you cannot change your tire, you cannot buy the new tire, you cannot even buy Tokumbo. You have to go and meet a organizer that, please, just give me anyone. When it comes to state of anyone, definitely you are heading for a crash. So what we will do say and do enlighten people is, when you want to buy a tire, even a new tire, you must look at the date, because you may buy a new tire that has expired in the store already, in the warehouse. And what do you need to look into? You have to look into the manufacturing date, the manufacturing week, which is inscribed on the tires. It is not the grip that matters. You have to look it, because anything that is after 4 years. So you can actually buy an expired new tire from beginning. From first day. So that is why we go out to mosques, we go out to churches, we go out to marketplaces, we go out for town hall meetings with traditional rulers, we go out to schools to catch them young by creating road safety clubs that can change the mentality and the orientation of our children, so that what we suffer, they will not suffer it. Because it cannot continue to be going like this. Then we will be looking for a new, a different solution. No, whatever you put in, you have to expect it. All right, so let's hold that thought there, because we have to go on a quick break now. We'll continue this conversation. There's a lot we're still going to talk about right after the break. Do stay with us. Okay. Thanks for staying with us. We're still in conversation with Comrade Sani Adisa, and he's giving us insights on road safety matters and how to keep yourself safe on the roads this coming Yuletide festive season. So before we went on the break, you were giving us you were talking about the mechanical factors that can lead to crashes on the road and the road. You mentioned something about tires, and like we're talking during the break, it's just coming to my note that you can actually buy an expired tire. How can we know that this tire you are going to buy is an expired tire? Okay, thank you very much, Nonso. It's a lecture on its own.
Okay.
How to buy tire, the type of tires to buy, the importance of tires. You understand?
Yes.
I mean, discouraging you to buying Tokumbo tires. Tokumbo tires already has expired before importation.
Oh.
It's not new. It has been exposed to harsh weather where they kept it, and they are bringing it into the country. They are packing like 10 into a tire. Already, it has been overstressed.
Yeah.
So to go straight to your question now, is in a new tire, you always see it by the side of the tire, 4 figures like that. What is the 4 figures showing? It's telling us about the week of manufacturing as well as the year the tire is manufactured. The first 2 figures, let's say it's 02, is telling us about the week of manufacturing. You know, we have 52 weeks in the year.
Yeah.
If you see 01, that is the first week of the year. If you see 07, that is the 7th week of the year. Then the another one that will follow now is the year of manufacturing. If you see 02 and you see after 02 you see 21, that is 2021. Meaning that in as much as we all agree that a good tire, manufactured tire, lasts for 4 years, all you need to know is that you add 4 years to 21. Oh. That is to say that tire you are buying is to expire by 2025 second week.
Okay.
You have to consider the week again.
The week 52.
You must consider the week as well. So that if you fail to identify this is where you see some people buying expired tires from the first day. And before you know it, when they use it for 2-3 weeks, the tire will burst, and they say, they will now go there to meet the owner that, why do you sell expired tire to me? You say, no, not be, is it not our Igbo guys? They tell you, say, that's why I buy them. Before you know it, there will be crisis.
And it will look new.
With correct grip.
Yes.
So we need to do this search before we throw our money out, especially in a time like this, that the money is not all there.
Okay. One of the problems, thank you very much for that information, was very vital and critical. One problem that we see again that we have during this period is overloading of vehicles. For decades, we have always hammered on this. Is it possible for us to begin to have road safety officials in the park before you even leave the park, and make sure that your vehicle is not overloaded before you travel? That's if we don't have that already now.
Thank you very much. Going straight to your question, it's an abomination to the core to see overloaded vehicle.
Yeah.
But if I may digress a bit, what causes all this? Going by your question, that is it not possible for us to have road safety, located, to collaborate with drivers union?
Yes.
We have been doing that.
Okay.
You understand? We have been doing that. But if you look at the economy now, majority of the vehicles on the roads, particularly in Abuja, are civil servants that will want to make the money for the fuel. They want to carry overload. They want to stop at obstruction. They want to do overtaking. They want what we call the 5 O's: overloading, overtaking, overspeeding, and overconfidence, because they are not well guarded. They don't know the rules of the game. Those at motor parks know what it takes. Fine, they have their excesses, but this I go drive myself people. You will now see women, I'm sorry to say, ladies with sophisticated fine cars, exotic cars. You will now see them and they be doing hand like this. Where? They don't even mind what they are constitute nuisance to the other road users. If you talk to them, why are you driving like that? They don't even look at you. You understand? So it becomes very difficult to checkmate the excesses of drivers in FCT unless the system itself is overhauled and sanitized. If the system is overhauled, we have parks I mean, we have bus stops. You can look at Abuja. There's not much bus stop.
Yeah.
Anywhere you
just
find yourself,
in a car.
any park you park, you cannot compare it to Lagos, where no vehicle, I repeat, can stop without getting to the bus stop. If you dare try it, last month we teach you, will be you heavily, and you will not try it again. But here, there's nothing like that. All the system in Abuja needed to be overhauled. Bus stop needed to be, constructed at appropriate places, and they are supposed to be task force to arrest all those, anyhow driver that just park by the way pick. That is why you can now see one chance on the increase.
Exactly.
Somebody will tint his glass or a glass of the vehicle in the night. You will just enter. And when you enter, you don't know that is the end. Taking, for instance, this lady Greatness that was thrown out of a car, a promising, youth, that's supposed to go for her PhD in UK. Anywhere from now, you can see what the system is causing. So the security apparatus, the security agencies needed to, step up. They are doing their best, but they can still do better by combing the nooks and crannies of FCT so that they can reduce to the barest minimum this issue of one chance. And to motorists too that are boarding, don't let us board at anyhow places. Let us go to the parks. And when we get to the parks, make sure that this is a genuine vehicle that you are entering. And if peradventure you want to board a vehicle by the side of the road, don't let it be in the night. Reduce your going out in the night, particularly ladies. And the moment you open a door of a car and you see that the inner, open it where you can open door, it's not there. It's bad. Don't enter it. Because the moment you enter, it is by the grace of God. They can be the only one to enter, to open for you. And when you enter and you see 2-3 hefty men or rough-looking guys, please reverse back. Don't enter such a vehicle, so that you will be you'll be safe and you get your destination.
Those are one of I think the critical factors why we see this one chance happening. We don't have designated bus stops, so you can flag down any car and you don't know the chances of you falling into one chance is a case of 50-50. And like I said, this happens mostly at night. And that's bringing me to ask, apart from security at night, do we have road safety presence at night?
At night, we don't work in the night. We're only at the designated position for rescue. Okay. Sure, understand? Oh, okay. Because we are not equipped with gun and what have you.
Yes.
So if you want to do that, that should be on rescue, and you must be properly guided so that you don't fall victim. Some of these drivers, particularly the commercial drivers, sorry to say, they want to see. They want to terminate the lives of FRSC personnel that have offended them in the afternoon. If they try to see them in the night,
they can just
run over them.
Run over you at night. So let's begin to round up because we're running out of time. But lastly, I want you to give us in-depthly how people know you've talked about this a lot. How people can be safe in this period. What particular guidelines, what safety rules should we begin to look at in this period so that we're safe at work and we help your job also to be easier?
Okay. Thank you very much once again. Part of what you needed to do is ensure that you are emotionally sound before you go out.
Yes.
When you are emotionally sound, mentally okay, already is a plus to you driving out and coming back safely. Another one is maintaining your car. Don't manage anything. It's better you go on public transport or Okada or Kenapep and come back safely rather than going and not coming back. The another one is the lightning system of your vehicle. It's very key, particularly in a time like this that the rain will not tell you I'm coming. And before you know, you lose visibility. Your wiper is not functioning because of the wiring system. Your brake system is not functioning. The vehicle coming behind you, maybe it's a truck, doesn't know that the vehicle is going. You don't have a rear light. You are exposing yourself to risk and danger. Your headlamp is not even functioning well. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And when the rain is, is increasing, Some will even bring out a duster,
From
a napkin, and be doing like this. For how long will you do that?
Yeah.
Before you know it, they run into a station vehicle that is spoiled already. And a station vehicle that is spoiled, that is expected to use C caution, is not using it. They will approach grasses and trees and put it. How can that one reflect in the night, for God's sake? So all these things should be avoided. Then making night journeys is a risk on its own. Is a risk because the night is not a respecter of anybody. Like Yoruba will say, he doesn't know who you are. Even if you are the president of the nation and you come out in the night, before you know you are wasted. Abi?
Yeah.
So we don't want anybody to lose his or her life prematurely. When you reduce the risk, do your own side of the job. God will we now pray. God will now answer the prayer. But if you don't do your own aspect of the job and you are now praying, the prayer cannot be answered. You understand? So then overspeeding this time around, we should reduce it. Overtaking at dangerous bends is risky. Obstruction, parking anyhow, anywhere, will affect you and as well affect other road users. Then when you are driving, forget about your phone completely.
Yeah.
Don't use your phone, because it is he who that is alive that can listen, that can wait to answer any other call. Because the moment you answer call while you are driving, you are calling for traffic crash, and it will be so suicidal, because you will not know when you apply the brake. And as it's affecting you, it's affecting other road users as well. Then this is the rainy season where nobody can question Baba God. Whatever Baba God say is the final. It is now for you to be discretionary. Discretionary in the sense that when you are driving, you know quite well that you are driving for about 5 people. Left, right, front and back. And yourself. Somebody is going in your front, somebody is coming from your back, somebody is here, somebody is here.
For all of them.
Drive for all of them. Know that if the moment you apply brake and you are too close to the vehicle in your front, there are tendencies that when you apply the brake during the rainy season, it may slip and you may run into that type of vehicle. But the moment you give it a reasonable distance, definitely when you apply brake, you apply second time, it will hold. Then it will help you to guide against such an accident.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of this. This has been, we hope that you have learned, and I have learned a lot during this time. I know that I have learned a lot, and we wish that this conversation could continue, but unfortunately we're running out of time. It's been so wonderful having you on the show this morning. My guest has been Comrade Sani Adisa, the State Coordinator for Special Road Marshal for the FCT Command in Abuja. And until I come your way again, my name remains Chinonso Chekwas. Do have a good time. Thank you so much.